Good morning students. In previous video we discussed some formulas and some numericals based on Bose theory concept. Now next topic is dual nature of light and matter. That means both light and matter having two natures. They are particle nature and wave nature. The wave nature of light is explained based on diffraction and interference experiments, and particle nature of light was explained based on reflection and refraction experiments. Similarly, matter also having particle nature and wave nature, that was explained by de Broglie's theory. Now we are going to discuss about de Broglie's theory. See, according to de Broglie's theory, the wavelength of the particle means either electron, proton, neutron, anything or molecule, the wavelength of the particle is inversely proportional to its momentum. Momentum means the product of mass and velocity is nothing but momentum. So for momentum and wavelength, they are having inverse relation. That means if wavelength increases, momentum decreases. If momentum increases, wavelength decreases. So the relation is lambda is proportional to 1 by p. If you remove this proportionality, then we get one constant, that is h. There h is called Planck's constant. Finally, this equation becomes like this, that is lambda equal to h by mv. This is very important relation, where lambda is wavelength of the particle, m is mass of the particle, v is velocity of the particle, and h is Planck's constant. So this is the formula for de Broglie's theory. For this derivation is also there, no need to discuss about the derivation, you just remember this formula. Next point, there are some more points regarding de Broglie's theory. According to this theory, electrons revolves around the nucleus with wave nature. This is very important point. According to de Broglie's theory, electron revolves around the nucleus in circular path. That means like this. Electron continuously revolves like this. But according to de Broglie's theory, that revolving electron having wave nature. That means this wave nature means like this. That means it is having crust and trough. Wave is called what? If one crust and trough is present, that is called wave. So that revolving electron having wave nature. And one more point, according to this theory, the circumference of the orbit is integral multiple of wavelength. Circumference, you know, the circumference of this circle is what? 2 pi r. Here circle is nothing but it's like orbit. Orbit is also circular path. So the circumference of the orbit, nothing but 2 pi r, is equal to n lambda, nothing but integral multiple of wavelength, where n is orbit number, lambda is wavelength. Finally, that 2 pi r equal to n lambda. We know what is the formula for lambda. Lambda equal to h by mv. Finally, from this, if mv comes this side and 2 pi comes this side, then we get mvr equal to nh by 2 pi. We saw this relation in Bose theory postulate. This is the one of the Bose postulate. From this, we can say one important point, that is both de Broglie and Bohr are good agreement with each other. That means whatever Bose said, that obeyed by de Broglie, that agreed by de Broglie, and whatever de Broglie said, that agreed by Bose. From this relation, that is the conclusion. Next, there are some more points. According to this theory, the number of waves in an orbit is equal to its orbit number. That means if you take second orbit, it contains 2 waves. If you take first orbit, it contains 1 wave. If you take third orbit, it contains 3 waves. If you take fourth orbit, it contains 4 waves. So the number of waves in any orbit is equal to its orbit number. Next, here one relation is there between lambda and kinetic energy. The formula for lambda is what? H by mv. The formula for kinetic energy, we know that this formula already, of mv square. If you multiply this equation by m, then m into k equal to half into mv whole square. Next, from this mv whole square equal to, if 2 comes this side, 2m ke. Finally, mv equal to root of 2m into ke. Finally, lambda is equal to h by root of 2m into k. How can we say that? From 1 and 2. That means if you substitute this value in this equation, then we get lambda equal to h by root of 2m into k, where k is what? Kinetic energy of the particle, m is mass of the particle, and lambda is wavelength of the particle, h is Planck's constant. So this is the relation between lambda and k. What will be the wavelength of the ball of mass of 0.1 kg moving with a velocity of 10 meter per second? That means in this question we have to find lambda, mass of the ball, that means mass is given and velocity is also given. That means both m and v is given. We have to find what? Just lambda. That's all. If you know the formula, if you substitute those values, you can find lambda. That's all. Next question. Here next question is, calculate the mass of photon with a wavelength of 3.6 angstroms. Here mass of photon is given. Sorry, mass of photon is to be found. Wavelength is given. Lambda, that means lambda is given. What is the formula? Lambda equal to h by mv, but we don't know v. What is v? V is equal to velocity of the particle, nothing but velocity of the light. It is a constant value. Its value is 3 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeter per second, or 10 power 8 meter per second. So if you substitute all these values in the above equation, then we can get lambda value. Next, one more problem. The mass of an electron is, that means mass is given 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. Its Ke is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 25 joules. Calculate its wavelength. That means m is given, K is given. What we have to find? Lambda. So all data is there. What is the formula? Lambda equal to h by root of 2m and k. If you substitute all these values, you can find lambda value. That is the way to solve the problems based on de Broglie's concept. This is all about de Broglie's theory. Next concept is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It is also one of the important topic. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Uncertainty means not constant, not exact. So first we see the statement. It is impossible to determine exact position and momentum of an electron in an atom simultaneously. That means what? If you find position of electron at that time, you cannot find momentum. Or if you find momentum of an electron at that time, you cannot find position of electron. That means you cannot find both position and momentum of an electron at a time. That is the statement given by Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This is mathematical expression. According to Heisenberg uncertainty principle, delta x into delta p is greater than or equal to h by 4 pi. That is the mathematical expression where delta x is what? Uncertainty in position of the particle, nothing but electron, proton, everything. It may be anything. And delta p is what? P is momentum. Delta p means uncertainty in momentum, and h is Planck's constant, pi is constant value. We know p is what? Mass and velocity, the product of mass and velocity. So finally this equation becomes like this: delta x into m into delta v is greater than or equal to h by 4 pi. So finally, if m comes this side, then this will be the final equation. Delta x into delta v is greater than or equal to h by 4 pi m. Delta x is what? Uncertainty in position of electron. Delta v, electron, proton, any particle. And delta p, uncertainty in momentum of electron, and delta v, uncertainty in velocity of electron. Here we have to prove two cases. Why we can't find position of electron when we find momentum of electron? That is one case. And why we can't find momentum of electron when we find position of electron? So for that, two cases are there. In first case, if position of electron is known, that means if we find position of electron in an atom, then delta x, that means change in position, is 0. Then what is the relation? Delta x into delta p equal to h by 4. This is the relation from Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So delta p equal to what? H by 4 pi into delta x. Finally, if you substitute this value, then this total denominator becomes 0. Then anything by 0 becomes infinity. That means what? If you find position of electron, then position of momentum will be infinity. That means we cannot find. That is the meaning of this one. Next, if you find momentum of electron, nothing but delta p value, then change in position, change in momentum is 0. That will be 0. Then automatically change in position will be infinity. That means if you find momentum, you cannot find position at that time. If you find position at that time, you cannot find momentum. That is the simple statement given by Heisenberg. Based on Heisenberg uncertainty principle, one question is given, that is, a microscope using suitable photon is employed to locate an electron in an atom within a distance of 0.1 angstrom. That means position of electron is given. What is the uncertainty involved in measurement of its velocity? That means delta V is to be found. Delta X is given, delta V is to be found. That means immediately we have to strike the formula regarding Heisenberg uncertainty principle. What is the formula? Delta X into delta V equal to h by 4 pi m, where m is mass of electron. We know what is the mass of electron, 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31. What is the delta X at 0.1 into angstroms? Convert them into either centimeters or meters. Then automatically we will get the value. H value is Planck's constant. We know that value 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 30. That is in joules. Automatically these dimensions is to be mentioned in meters. Suppose if it is mentioned in X, then these dimensions is to be mentioned in centimeters. Then finally we get the value. We can calculate the value. So there is one more question based on Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that is, a golf ball has a mass of 40 grams and a speed of 45 meter per second. If the speed can be measured within accuracy of 2%, calculate the uncertainty in the position. That means what is given? Mass of the ball is given, that is m is given, and the speed of the particle, that means p, is also given. In that speed 2% accuracy is there. If accuracy is there, that will be that speed will be multiplied by that accuracy. Then we have to find what? Calculate uncertainty in position. That means delta X is to be found. So m is given, m is what? 40 grams. H is not H, this is V. V is how much? Delta V. This is delta V. 45 into 2 by 100. 2% means 2 by 100. Then this value will be equal to delta V. If you substitute all these values in this equation, then we can find delta X value. So that is this is one more model regarding Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So this is all about de Broglie's theory and Heisenberg uncertainty principle.